Yo.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had my mic muted for a second. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Good deal. Are you? Oh, and let me. I guess I can also bring it up. Twitch.
Zatori. Yes, it is the legendary
No.
Garth, but not.
Mute you. Okay. Are you? Is the stream working for you?
Let me enter it in here.
Okay.
Can you hear me fine?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. So let me take a look at this beginning section here of the second.
So yeah, here's the things I'm thinking in my head. There's what I consider four 16 count moves at that 160 tempo
Yep.
to get the mirrors back there, the guard with rifles, and then them set up to play again at letter D.
Yep.
Now, before letter D in the score, there's kind of eight counts um, separate from the piano solo.
Yep. I have that mapped out from
That
page 19 to 20. That eight counts
that
before D.
that kind of sets up that next section there.
Yep. Yep. There's like the pickups to D at the very end of that.
I'd kind of like that to be a halt. So they're kind of in their spot. They have eight counts to get their horn up, ready to play, and then ready to start moving again at letter D.
Yep. We're on the same page there.
Okay. So that's really then four 16 count moves to get ready for that.
Yep.
So and then I kind of like the color guard to, I'd like something happening in the front of the field while the mirrors are getting moved to kind of be a distraction in a
Oh,
way.
absolutely. There needs to be.
And I'm really thinking like one person would be able to move each mirror.
That's the way that I have it mapped out currently. Yes.
So it'd be nice if we could just have only specific people. It'd be 14 mirrors to move them back, and then the rest of them stay up front and do some other drill or do some other body work or to interact with the color guard in a way.
Yep.
So.
And that's a total. If I let me see. So if there's one person per mirror, that leaves me with.
And then the other thing you have to keep in consideration too is who has the melody at letter D, which would be those 7 players: the 3 baritones, the tenor saxophones, the bari sax, and the tuba.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we're going to be able to have them do stuff up front and then have the people move the mirrors in the back and then all get back together in some sort of fashion. So I was thinking the people that move the mirrors could take their time kind of, getting back into order or whatnot.
So the way that I have this mapped out currently, and of course this is all subject to change, but this is just the design sequence here, I guess, is I have 14 members who split behind the mirrors after the second move of 16.
Right.
I have them. I then have it split up into a series of 8 count moves, and the reason for that is from 15 to 16 that allows them to go from the shape that they're in at the end of the second 16 to directly behind their mirrors, and then that sets up the people in front um, to do some drill, and it also carves out space for the color guard to come back onto the field. I then have it mapped out for page 17 through 19. So that would be so 16 to 17, 17 to 18, and 18 to 19, which should be a total of 24 counts to move. And this is again going off that prior knowledge. You were talking about moving the mirrors all the way to that front hash. So they would have to move 16 steps over the course of 24 counts. So that's smaller than an 8 to 5 step for that whole time. And then that would allow them to move out in front of the mirrors. So going to page from 19 to 20, this will give them their pickups, moving out in front of the mirrors. And at that point, I would also have, the people in the front for this whole page, from page 16 to 20, have all this drill going on and interaction with the color guard. And that's 8, 16, 24, 30. That's a 32 count amount of time where they're interacting with the color guard, where they're doing drill, whatever. And then my goal is by the end of that 32 count segment to get those members closer to the front hash, so that they can then meet up with the rest of the ensemble that's moving mirrors at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think the idea would be then that the staging for the drill at the entrance at D would generally be closer to the front hash than the front sideline, which should work out fine even for a smaller ensemble, because really we're not running into trouble sound wise until we get closer to the center X, which is full 4, 8, 12, 15, 16, 14 steps, 16 steps, in like even further back from the hash. So we shouldn't.
I wouldn't worry too much about the sound or anything, because that whole box area from the 35 to 35 to the front hash, that would be all fair game
for sure,
no matter what.
For sure.
I think so. Can
I pitch this idea to you? The stuff that I've written, and again, it's not complete yet, and we can certainly make changes to it. So we have the first move. It's a 16 count phrase, and it moves all the members onto the 30s from where they're standing. This would be a reshape. This would not be a straight line to the dot set. Meaning, because if we went straight line to the dot, you'd have a couple members who might get close to running into mirrors. And these mirrors on this page are slightly larger than the actual dimensions that you told me. So I think they'd be getting close to them, but they would not be touching them. This move is not concerning whatsoever from a difficulty standpoint. You might have some people taking slightly larger step sizes, but not like physically taxing for extended periods of time steps. The only move really that I think is physically taxing is 14 to 15, but it's only like genuinely taxing for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 members of the ensemble. And it's a group of, it looks like mellophone, clarinet, flute, trumpet, and maybe one saxophone in there. And the reason being is that this would be a staggered step off. So really, like, M1 is your member who is most taxed here. Like, that person is doing a true jazz run, which even for high, is assuming that person is in any kind of moderate physical shape, that should be achievable for one 16 count phrase, and that's all it would be. And then the rest, everybody else is taking one step fewer at that step size. Um, so my pitch is, this is a difficult drill move from a physical standpoint for about half the ensemble, and it is a coordinate, like it's because it'd be a staggered step off, so it'd be right foot left foot right foot left foot right foot left foot, so it'd be a little difficult in that manner. But my pitch is that it is one 16 count move that has a ton of general effects built into it. Um, it's something where if when I marched and in talking with other drill writers, the strategy is often to have like three big moments throughout the course of a show, drill wise and musically speaking. Um, and this could be one of those, like, hey, this is something that we work on a pretty regular basis to make it look really really good. And then other parts of the show are much simpler and not as taxing. But all these members are, none of them are playing any instruments at this point. And this is a move too where they could face the direction of the move, so they wouldn't have to do a crazy difficult slide. It would literally be marching straight forward and using their static and dynamic dress points to make sure they hit their dots for 16 steps. And that's only for the first person in that line. Everybody else would be taking one fewer.
Yeah.
So I'm pitching this because I think it's difficult.
No, I mean, I get that. I can see that. Well, the other thing that I was thinking about is just like moving the mirrors. In my perspective, I feel like it'd be easier to push those mirrors, so they'd have to be like in front of them instead of pulling them.
How heavy do you think these mirrors are going to be? And the only reason I ask is because are you going to be on turf fields every show?
Well, no.
Um,
We're gonna be on some grass, but I'm hoping that they're not like. It's basically just moving a door that's on wheels.
right, right. The only reason that I think, well, there's a couple reasons that I think it'd be better to pull them than to push them. One, it hides them. It hides the members from the audience, so they can actually put a little brute force into it and not make it look like they're doing the hardest thing in the world. You know what?
Yeah.
It makes some of like the grunt work look not like grunt work. We see a moving mirror instead of somebody physically, pushing a mirror. And if they're in front of the mirrors, there's also the discussion of, well, should they be in step? Should they be just pushing at their own pace? How fast should they be pushing these mirrors? And
Yeah.
also, if they're pushing, are they? If they're just pushing mirrors, are their gloves, with the sweat on their gloves, going to smudge the mirrors um, for later? If we have handles built onto the back of those mirrors, that eliminates that problem. And it gives them, I think it gives them a little bit more control. Because if they're pushing and one of the mirrors starts to topple because a tire got stuck as they were pushing it, they don't have a way to recover the mirror. But if they're pulling it, they can always kind of brunt that force if something were to start falling. They have more control because they have a handle, um, that that type of thing. So that's why I kind of figured that it would be a pull, not a push.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we'd have to experiment too to see what works. What works, I guess. Or
Hmm.
I guess it's kind of up in the air. What
I
be better?
I kind of had the, like, I didn't realize these were going to be on wheels. I thought they were like static objects that they would pick up and
No,
move.
no, no. They're going to be on wheels. So
Okay,
that's the
okay.
other thing is like, you know, having the back pedal. Um, I don't know. I guess it's just something we'll have to experiment with. I
Hmm.
guess.
Well, and maybe it's not even something where they would necessarily have to backpedal. Um, maybe if you construct a handle well enough, they could face the direction and pull them behind them. Again,
Yeah.
like you said, it would be something where you'd have to experiment. I,
Yeah.
I, I would caution pushing the mirrors out in front just because that's something that the judge is going to be able to evaluate.
Yeah.
And the sweat of the gloves could. I guess I don't know exactly what that surface is going to look like. If it's going to be a true like mirror or like a glass thing.
It'll be just like a film that's put over a
Okay.
piece of wood.
Okay.
So
And even if it's a film, then I would wonder if if with repeated use, if the gloves would start to tarnish that film. Um,
yeah.
or like if you're using them in rehearsal without gloves, or even with gloves, I guess. But just I would wonder if touching that surface would eventually compromise the integrity of what you're trying to do, or compromise the integrity of the surface. Um, what was I gonna say? What like so I'm kind of pitching this to you here, but I know that you weren't wholly satisfied with this development here. What are your biggest concerns? Because and I know one of them I think you said was the amount of time that it takes to get them to these spots. And I'm looking this over here just because if we go to page 16, 7, 8. So that'd be an 8 count move that gets them to the mirrors. And then that would give them 8, 16, 24, and even up to maybe, if we really wanted to push it, up to 28 counts to move those mirrors to the hash while the rest of the ensemble is doing, drill and or choreography.
Sorry, my thing cut out for a second.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Now I'm getting like an echo. Okay, that should be good now.
Okay.
Can you play that back to me one more time?
Yeah, let me give it to you.
Sure.
Do you want the whole thing?
Yeah, there's just a little bit of lag, so I'll just have to wait a bit.
Yep. I think. And so there are a couple things. Obviously, the guard at the beginning appears that they are, smashing into wind members. That wouldn't be the case with a reshape, and the guard members would be funneling towards the front sideline rather than just going straight to those dots. So as the wind form would break apart, they could go through the space that opens up. And then the other moment of concern in terms of like people running into each other would be the 16 count move, or sorry, this 32, or no, not this one. What was I? Oh no, it's the wind members uh, touching the edges of the mirrors. But again, if we approach it as a reshape instead of a straight line path, they actually take a curved pathway around the mirror as opposed to going directly through the mirror. And it would look more like a follow the leader than just two lines that eventually turn into, um, or horizontal lines that turn into vertical lines. It would look more like a funnel of members uh, approaching the 30s on the yard line. and then from 16 to 19, we can get those mirrors. So it'd be 24 counts. Get the mirrors to the hash, and that if they're going straight back, that would that'd be straight back. I guess it wouldn't be straight back because we can't cover up the pit, but we'd be going at slightly smaller steps than an 8 to 5 um, over the course of 24 counts that they would get to do that.
Yeah. Are you able to save this as like, or keep this and like um make like a new file that we could experiment with other things?
Yes, let's just open up.
So you don't lose this, but
Totally. We'll keep that the file that it is right now. This is the very
I'd like
beginning.
to just try doing what I have in my head. And if it doesn't work, then I was also thinking about those mirrors a little bit. In those 2-step intervals, getting them back there. I'm not sure exactly on the design, but I wonder if those like wheels stick out from the outside edges of the mirrors. So I mean, technically the mirrors are 36 inches across, but the whole design might be a little wider with the base of the mirrors, like the wheels and stuff.
Right.
Which in that case they wouldn't really fit side to side in the back there. So I mean, possibly even playing on the safe side and putting them 3 steps apart, which would be, what would that be? So if you start one splitting, those marimbas are just off a little bit. Then 1 off, the 2 off, 3 off, and then on the yard line again. That's how that would happen.
Are you saying for where we're moving them?
Well, yeah, instead of, I mean, still keeping them side by side, but having them 1 step further apart than what we had originally figured when we move them back to the hash.
Okay, so this I've just outlined the first up to letter D basically. So it would be if we assumed 16 count chunks and then the 8 counts before the pickups to D, that gets us 72 counts to work with. And then if we wanted prop tool, let's say when here's probably the first question. When would you want the members to start and stop moving the props?
I'd like to get them just moved right away. So I would like 14 members to get to the mirrors here in 16 counts. Okay. So now obviously the people that are off the field here are going to have a little bit faster travel, but it wouldn't be any more than a 8 to 5 from what I'm looking at. So that guy that's off the field is only a few steps off, which means 4, 8, 12. He'd be able to get to the mirrors in a perfect 8 to 5 step. So I'm wondering if we could would it make sense to do every other member go to the mirror? But then, like I said, at letter D, we have certain individuals playing the melody. I guess, I don't know if we could get them to the mirrors in 16 counts, because I feel like they're going to need the third set of 16 counts to make sure the mirrors are adjusted and kind of just chill there. Because because I feel like if they move them in 16 counts, I mean, they could probably move them, but when they get to the hash, they're going to need just some more time to make sure they're right and in the right spot and get ready to step off. If you're feeling me there.
Well, this
So
is not how
I
I
was
recruit these
hoping
guys.
16 steps to the mirrors, move them. Heck, I don't know if 16 steps to move them is even enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 16 steps to the back hash already. They're going to need at least 2 sets of 16 counts to get them into position, in my opinion.
Okay. So going back to your initial, the first thing you said. So if we went every other performer, we would only take 12 members. So we need to group one or two more members in there as well. In addition to the every other, or we could do like.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Or we could do like half the ensemble. If we, like split side A side or side one side two. I don't know if we could finagle that one.
Whatever you think would work the best here. Just half of, or I mean, well, we got. And did you get my text about another saxophone player?
Oh yeah, that? Let's yeah. Let's add.
So I'm wondering, we don't necessarily have to add him in now, but maybe he's like, I don't know, hanging out somewhere here at the beginning of the show, like in the pit, and then he just sneaks in when they all move back or something.
Yeah, that'd be totally doable.
Totally. So maybe doable. He's like chilling in the back right now, and then when they move the mirrors, just
insert sax 5 or whatever however many that we have.
It's another alto saxophone that's moving into the district.
Cool.
Okay, so what are you thinking as far as now? You said every other is not going to work because that's not enough.
Well, correct. Yeah, that would give us, because we have an let's see how many if we group. Oops. Yeah, we have 24 wins, so we would only net 12 if we went every other.
Yeah. Would it work to do the 2 on both ends and then every other? That would give us that 14, wouldn't it?
That would give us 14. We would also get a clump of 3 and a clump of 2, just because the way the math works out. If I start with like C5 over here in the corner that's my second member. So like let's say we'd start S1, we get S3, S2, C3, yeah. C4, M1, M2, M3, U1, and T3, and then we get B1, B2. So we'd have this group of 3 going and this group of 2 on the end.
All right.
So that's certainly something we can do.
What if we do the 3 in the middle?
Well, and then just go every other out from there. I like that idea.
What about, okay, so then I like this black mirror though too. We need to get this figured out. So my first vision was it's just like an open mirror, right?
Yep.
What if it was a regular mirror like all the rest of them?
Okay.
And it stayed put. So we could use that. So we kind of have like one mirror that's used for staging and then the rest of them in the back. And we could always move that mirror too later.
Uh-huh.
Or do you think that would be weird?
No, I think that's like... well, here's the thing. If we're going to do that, and if we're going to do that, we need to feature that mirror in this moment somehow. Or in a moment immediately following it, so that there's purpose to it being there. Beyond just, we didn't move the other mirror back. Do you want this mirror to be in any way different than the other ones? Like, is there a different, a golden frame around this one? Is there...
that would be kind of cool. My only concern is it being on the 50 and just kind of... I know it's not supposed to be distracting in a way, but um, and then they got the pit in the back, and it obviously won't cover them up. But do you have any thoughts on? I like that idea of having like a gold frame or something to
The
make it stand out, and
Yeah, yeah.
it would just kind of stay there for, I don't know if it wants to stay there the whole show, or maybe be moved at a later time. It wouldn't be hard to like move it, I don't know, somewhere and lay it down. I don't know.
I feel like this is the mirror then that a performer keeps coming back to, whether it's the piano player at the beginning or whether it's if we're not going to if it's not going to be open, then I need to restage the mellophone soloist at the beginning.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's not a big deal because I can just tell her not to stand in the back, but just
sure,
stand in front.
sure,
So like that'd be just a little deal. I
okay.
mean, you know, but
Um,
keeping that one mirror there as kind of a way to play on the theme a little bit more, because if the other ones are moved into the back, they're kind of out of the way for a while. But and then there's always the possibility of, I mean, not even having that mirror exist, and the horn solo could just stand in the middle, you know,
right, right.
if we wanted to.
Here, this is probably just the easier way to do this. Oops, no. Let's go. Can we?
Did you get that job at that place? You had an interview?
I don't think so actually.
Oh.
Well, they said yeah, we'll call you tomorrow, and I was like, all right, sounds good, and then I never got a call from them, so
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think some of that too is the fact that they already were pretty, like I think they had the majority of their staff already full, and then they're opening up tomorrow, and like that whole place wasn't even put together yet. So I think it was one of
Oh,
those like we have a
it was
lot of fish
brand
to
new.
fry, and I don't know. Like I don't even know if they ever discussed my interview with the third person they said they needed to discuss it with, or if it
Yeah.
just kind of fell by the wayside. But at any rate, I'm not sure. Okay, so this gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2. Okay, that would get. So this nets us 13 performers if we do the middle three. Can we? I wonder if we extend that out one, if that just bumps one from the end, or if it actually gets us an extra performer. This might do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Sorry,
So
my thing keeps cutting out like every 10 minutes or something. I don't know what's going on.
that's strange.
It's annoying.
So
It's yeah.
this way works. If we take the middle four performers, C4,
Yep.
C1, M1, T4, and then we go every other from each end, that'll get us 14.
Yeah.
And then we would just have to like, I don't know, do a simple.
So can we just have them now just right in line attached to one of the mirrors?
Yeah, so we would just go boink, boink.
And can we put them in front, and I can always move them um, if needed?
Shoot.
Or they could always just sneak behind. Cool.
Oh, I see what's happening here. Okay, let me fix this really really quick. I factored in 14 members, assuming all these mirrors were evenly spaced 14 undo. Put them back here. So we'll go. I'll have to actually chop these segments in half. So we'll go these two. Ah, shoot. These. Not those two. These two. So it'll be two separate lines, actually. Here to here. And then these two. These two with you and you and you and you and you. Okay, yeah, so that'll get them to the mirrors in 16.
Yeah, I like that. How many people are left on each side then? Is it equal?
1, 2,
or is
3,
it a
4,
little bit
5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 on each side. Because
Alright.
now the ensemble's broken into a group of 14 and a group of 10.
Yeah. So
Guard.
that's cool.
Yep.
Now can the color guard if there's 5, can the color guards fit in between each one of the members?
Yep, that should work.
And then they could do like, well, I guess it doesn't have to go that way, but I guess I never really gave it much thought what they're gonna do. But I figured they could get somewhere in 16 counts here. Interact and do a little body work or a dance or something for some amount of time or whatnot.
Do you want that before they grab their equipment?
It'd be nice if they could do something where half of them are grabbing their equipment and the other half are interacting, and then the other half comes. It doesn't have to be that way, but it'd be nice if something was going on all the while they're getting their equipment. So say maybe side A goes to the sideline first and grabs their rifles and then comes back out, whereas side B stays and dances for a little while, then goes to the sidelines while the other group is heading back out. So there's always kind of something going on.
Do you want so can we actually reverse that and then because right now side 2 or side B is closer to like the way that arc dips is closer to the sideline, so I think that'd be less distracting right away while that first group dances, and then while the other group comes out, then we could bring the other one forward.
Yeah, that would be fine. Or the other version could be, the guard could just go get their rifles, and while that's happening, the winds could be doing something, and then the girls could come back out with the rifles and finish off the piano solo, but then the winds would have to be doing something too. But either way would work if you think it would.
Is there any? Okay, so the guard members would just have to pass through the winds here, and looks like there's plenty of space for them to do so. We pull them. What do you want the? Oh, okay. Here's another question though. Where's the guards' equipment going to be staged front field? Because we have wind members that are like off the sideline.
We can stage it anywhere at this point.
Okay.
It's not set in stone. It's wherever they need to set it to get it.
Okay. I'm gonna.
How would you feel if, should we just have the guard run off and get their stuff and then come back out, or should we do what I said and have one side trade off with the other?
I'm thinking.
Because while the guard goes off and does some gets their stuff, the winds could do something. But we also have to remember that the piano solo is going on, so we don't want to like detract a lot from that, I guess, in a way.
So if anything, we need drill that points us to that directs our eyes to the pianist.
At least initially. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Or maybe the winds like do a lunge sequentially into the piano, but I mean yeah.
I'm wondering. If we could funnel the guard past the piano before they go to their sideline spots. If that makes if that makes sense, so they would take them 16 counts to get to their equipment.
Yeah, like funnel them towards the 50 and then loop them out.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
And maybe kind of like extend their arm as they pass by or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, do like some sort of choreography that directs one's attention to that piano player. I wonder if we.
Is the baby still sleeping? He's gotta be still sleeping.
I'll peek after I get the dog.
That's a long time to be sleeping. Yeah, I guess the other thing too is it'd probably take them more than 16 counts if they did that, which is fine.
So just out of curiosity. No, that's not how I wanted it to work. That needs to be way less. I don't want them pulling that way.
What if we took the first? Well, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Open the door. Can you get the towel for me? Where? I don't know where they are.
Do you want to go on the boat?
Yeah, but I don't want to go on the boat. So can you get me a towel?
Sure. You know where they are?
No, you?
Here. When?
I'm almost wondering.
Help yourself, ask me to make something.
What if we just had them take 16 counts to go into a straight line and weave in the middle, and then like have them do some visual where they like ripple into the piano or something, and to make it easier.
Sorry, repeat that one more time.
What if we just took these first 16 counts to have the guard mesh with the winds here, splitting each other, and then they could do some type of visual that ripples towards the middle to highlight the piano player a little bit more, just to make the move a little bit easier. Maybe say 4 steps off the front sideline. I don't know.
And then I also got lemon and lime and orange wedges or oranges.
Also wondering.
Are they gonna like run into each other there?
Yeah. It gets a little messy when we have, because now we're moving winds backfield and guard front field and trying to mesh them with the other wind. So it's like there's kind of 3 line ideas going on at the same time, and they're all kind of colliding with each other at a point.
Right.
So there's like a moment of
Yeah, what's going on side 1 on the far left there? There's like 2 people or something that end up. There's a person that ends up behind another person in a way. Oh, I see. There's like a bunch of people with flags.
Oh yeah, that's just a glitch of the, like when you actually hit play that those flags go away. I don't know why it does that, but
oh yeah. Yeah, there's like an extra person somewhere down there though.
Hey, Daddy is outside.
Oh, it's
Or on the drill, there's someone on down there. G1, like 4 steps off the sideline there.
Oh, what's going on, G1? What's your deal? Oh, I bet I know what happened. I bet it didn't map correctly to the spot. I might have missed it. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. The other slight concern with this too is that we're meshing 8 guard members into 10 win members. So there's going to be at least 1 double up in terms of like it can't go exactly guard win, guard win, guard win, guard win.
Well, if there was 5 on each side, can the guard just go in the middle? So it'd be wind guard. Okay, no. Yeah, wind guard, wind guard, wind guard. So the winds would be on the outside on both sides. But yeah, the one we'd be missing is in the middle then.
So let's do this just half by half here. So we'll go. We'll say 30 to there, and we'll go wind guard, wind guard, wind guard, wind. And wind would have to be here. Guard. Wind guard. Wind guard. Wind guard. Wind. So yeah, I think that could work if the middle two wind players are next to each other, and then it'll go wind guard every other.
Yeah.
The only conflict I think I see in terms of pathway are this guard member near the 30 on side 1, and then the saxophone player going backwards. Otherwise, I think pathways work out well.
Oh yeah, that one over there on the 30 side one.
Yeah, A2 gets really close to both C5 and G1 moving forward.
Right. Well, I guess that'd be an instance where, I mean, I guess the people going to the mirrors could turn and face that direction, so, and then obviously the color guard girl would just have to watch, or just make sure she takes a slightly altered path.
Right, to just get into that spot. And ultimately, it should just be the responsibility of that guard member to just watch out for whoever's coming backfield and just take a pathway accordingly.
Yeah.
Alternatively, what would happen if we just went... Oh, it's awkward. Yeah, never mind.
I guess I don't mind how that sets up.
If we move them to... I'm just concerned with intervals, making sure, because it's really hard to read a 3.5 step interval side to side in a straight line. But 3.5 is way easier to read than 3 3/4. So.
Right. It'd be nice if they were either on splitting, or 2-step intervals. But if you do 2 steps, they're going to be probably pathways getting to that spot's going to be a lot more challenging.
We have 18, so the center will have to be splitting 2 people, and the ends will be on 30s, and that would look like... Yeah, so if we spread them out to an even 3-step, I think we have a lot of pathway issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some... Splitting the 45-40, there's a guard member colliding directly with someone going front field. Splitting the 50-45, they get really, really tight. The splitting the 35-40 on side 1, we have a sax hitting a flag. I wonder what would happen if we spread this out to a 4-step interval. Just out of curiosity, first of all. And our step sizes are still okay if we spread it out to a 4-step. 4-step might actually work. We have some tight pathways, but I don't think any that directly collide. The one that, again, is just most concerning is C5G1A1 on the very end of side 1. And I think it's just because of the shape they're in the set before, like in their orientation to each other. I mean, they're kind of like inverting.
Yeah, would anybody notice if we just switched those two people around? So like, you know, we did every other win going to move a mirror, but maybe we just change those two win players. The other one goes to the mirror, and the other one just is outside the guard.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that the saxophone stays front field, and the clarinet goes backfield.
Yes. And then I don't think it would be. Yeah, I think that would work. Or help anyway.
So we'll move you, and we'll move you. Oops. Yeah, it looks like that would work. So a little cheat. But it should work. Yeah.
It looks better too.
Yeah, it looks fine.
All right. So I'm happy with that.
We'll keep that little cheaty face in there.
So there's 16 counts to basically get people to the mirrors and set up for something here. So now we have 3 more 16 count moves. So for sure, the people with the mirrors need to move these back. So maybe we just concentrate on doing that right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was that again?
Sorry. Now we that's just one 16 count move we got. So now we have. I know. For sure we have to get the people back with the mirrors. So maybe we just concentrate on getting them back right now, and then worry about the people in the front after that.
And you said it would probably take. You want it to take 32 counts for that to happen.
I mean, technically there's 16 steps off the back or the hash right now.
Yep.
And they still have to move out a little bit. So I know for sure it's going to take at least 2 16 count moves for them to get those into position, basically. And then that leaves them one more 16 count move to start making their way more front field so they can at least be, near the other wins when they start playing again at letter D.
Queenie?
What? Hey, you want to do me a favor?
Yeah.
Who's going on the pontoon?
All of us.
Oh, shoot.
I don't know if Carmen is, but
Well, is Ari sleeping? If he is, just grab him. Wake him up. Bring him out here. Okay, sorry.
And how far apart do you want these mirrors spaced again?
Well, as I was saying earlier, I'm worried about how wide they are with the base of the wheels. I know that, so those 36, was he awake?
he's awake and he's kind of crying.
Really?
He's kind of sad.
The base of the wheels might extend past 36 inches. Is Carmen here?
Carmen's out on the paddleboard.
Oh, really? So what if we did 3-step intervals? So let's see here. The first one would be splitting the 40 and the 35. Or 40 and 45. Yeah, that speaker is kind of in the way. There we go. How far are they going to extend out now if they're 3 steps?
The last one will be centered at 3 inside the 30, the side 130.
Yeah.
Or sorry, centered on 2 inside the 30 on either side. Not that
Yeah.
that makes that big of a difference in terms of.
Yeah.
All right, and
What do
so
you
then
think?
it would.
How do you feel about how that sets up?
I think that's fine. Give me 1 second though. I have do I have this taking a full? Oh, whoops. Minor fix. Undo, 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 undo. I have the I have them taking 16 counts for the mirrors to move instead of 32. So we're just gonna do that with the.
What if? I mean, that's. I kind of want it to be kind of choreographed, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, they just need to be able to get them back there. So, I mean, you could technically leave it at 16 counts and then just have them halt back there for 16 counts too. Why don't we do that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Move them back in 16. If they need to take longer, which they probably will, that's fine. But they can just stay back there until the next 16 counts are up, or use whatever they have left to kind of get ready. And I just imagine them standing in front of the mirrors when they're completed.
Why? This I don't understand. Okay, so 16 counts gets us here, and then 16 counts gets everything moving back. And then why do some of these mirrors just randomly. That's strange. I mean, it's an easy fix, but I don't understand why it wasn't doing that to begin with. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to jump off for just 1 minute here. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Just 1 second here. I got to make a playpen for my boy so he doesn't get into everything.
Sounds good.
I'm trying to make a barrier. How about a blanket in front of that? Suffice, kind of. All right, I'm back.
All right, so we have. So you want them moving for 16 and then holding for 16?
Yeah, we can do that, and then they can, if they need more than 16 counts to move them, that's fine. And then whatever counts they have left will just be kind of getting them, make sure they're set into position, and then getting back in front of the mirrors.
Cool.
So then they have 16 more counts then to kind of start moving to the front.
Okay, so I have these performers. Let me just see if the animation is that way now. Facing backfield with their horns of the carry during this moment, so that we can kind of. So they turn around and move backfield and face.
Just real quick check. I don't suppose that. Oh, good. The tuba player is up front.
Yep. Tuba player is not moving equipment. Yep.
Okay. Well, and then the other, I don't know how we're gonna handle this, but we can always build something on the mirrors for them to rest their horns on too, if needed. But I think they should be able to carry them and push. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll make it work.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I like that.
So that'll get them there. Was that your biggest concern then? The getting them.
My biggest concern was getting the mirrors moved and still having them time to get back and ready to play.
Right.
I like this a lot better where they get the mirrors moved like right away.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Okay. Okay, so what are we going to do with the people down front for these 16 counts? Should we have them stay here for those 16 counts and do some movement?
You're talking the wind players up front?
Yeah.
Wind and guard?
Yeah, with the guard in between them. What do you want to do during these 16 counts?
I mean, they'll be moving. Let's see. We don't have the. So we have the guard in line, and then I don't know if you want to keep moving the guard front field to get flags here.
Well, I thought maybe they could. Well.
Or do you want them to dance a little bit and then get them off field?
It'd be nice if they were doing something stationary here for 16 counts while the mirrors are moving. I mean, so it could be some type of visual like dance thing. And then they still have 2 more 16 count moves to get their equipment.
Sure. So from 1 to, well, I guess I'm just going to go back to calling this a standard page tab because it's not functioning as a subset like I thought it would. So page 1 to 2 then you want to be a hold?
I think that might work.
Okay.
And then they could do something visually here for 16 counts.
Okay.
And then the next 16 counts, what do you think having the color guard heading to the sideline to get their rifles?
Are they all grabbing rifles then at this point?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a Miranda question that I need to. Why don't I give her a call quick so we can make sure?
Cool.
I think they're, well, yeah, we'll see. Let's see here.
Okay.
I'll call her. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I'm talking with Casey right now. After the beginning during that piano solo, or during that first piano solo, we had talked about doing some things up front with the winds, and then they're going to go to the front on sideline and exchange equipment from the first flag. Now we're wondering, are they all going to do? I wasn't sure. Are they all going to do rifles here, or are they going to be split, or what? Yeah. Yes. I guess. Yeah. Are you free right now to hop on and chat with us? All right. Let me see if you want me to like send you a link to the Google Hangout, and then he's just on the video thing that you were on before. All right. I'll see you on there. Yeah. Bye. Okay. She's gonna hop on.
Cool.
I guess looking further out, then after we figure that out, so when the winds or when the guard goes to the sideline to change equipment, maybe the winds could like start working their way backfield, and then maybe like something with that mirror that's sitting out there in a way.
Yes. Let me.
Or
I'm
do
just
some
gonna.
drill. Do some drill that can. I guess it doesn't have to, but I mean that mirror's sitting out there now.
Let's see. We have 10 wins that we can work with. So in a lot of negative space. So we can.
I guess yeah, we have a lot of opportunities here, and then just thinking in the future too, these the people that move the mirrors are going to be coming back to the front and meeting up with them too at letter D.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey guys.
Hey Miranda.
Hey.
I'm still working on getting my computer pulled up to that website. What are you guys working on right now?
Well, we're just doing that transition with the piano solo, and yeah, I guess the biggest question was if they're all going to pick up rifles.
I think it might look smoother if half moved to the sideline and grabbed a rifle, and while the other half danced, and
Yeah.
then could switch spots, and they're so the ones that dance first then transition to rifle, they could come in at letter D.
Right. So the yes or no, they're all using rifles.
At D, they are all using rifles. Yes.
I gotcha.
And then they half of them go back. Let's see. Hold on, I'm right. Can't remember what letter. At letter F, half of them will transition to flag. So either 3 or 4 of them will, and the remaining 3 will stay on rifle.
Mm.
G, and they'll all transition at G to flag.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Okay.
And that's at letter F, you said?
Yeah, F.
Okay, let me make a note. So letter F. All but 3 switch to something else? Switch to flags?
Yes, please.
So, are we still on board with like Josie not being written into this?
Yes, I talked to her on Tuesday,
Okay.
and she understood.
Okay. So yeah, this is going to be interesting then. Because we still have the 8 guard out there, but I guess we'll just have to have a hole here in the beginning. But that's what we got to do. So after this, Casey, what we need to do is take one of these guard members out of there.
Right, right. So this Josie, is she not doing any of the show, or is she just doing some?
She's not doing any of it.
Yeah, she's the one that is gonna transfer schools.
Oh, right. That one.
Oh.
Yes.
We should find somebody similar of her size and have her just march these opening drill.
Get on it, Tyler.
Find a ringer. Hey, we need you for like 2 minutes of the show. Can you fit into this color guard uniform?
Maybe Sapphire do it.
Oh my god, no. I think she graduated amazingly.
Is that Ari?
Yep, he's playing.
He had chatter.
He just makes a bunch of weird noises.
Sounds about right.
So Miranda, if half of them went and got the rifles before the other half, what would you envision them doing when they come back out with those rifles?
In my brain, what I think would look cool, but would take a lot of effort. I think I saw some Corps did it, and we'd really have to work on it. But you know those cartwheels where you like grab the people's legs?
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. Micaiah already knows how to do it.
So the wind players would grab their legs.
Yes, they would take their rifle and wrap like the rifle around the guard's body, and the guard would like cartwheel. Now that I know it's kind of ambitious, but
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm still thinking of ideas. Today, I was going to choreograph a lot.
Okay.
What do you? I mean, what's in your brain?
Are you on the video yet?
It's just pulling up here.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm on it.
All right, Casey, where are you at here?
Well, I'm just kind of holding to see what we want, because I have the guard in a position to where they can easily get to the sideline here to grab those rifles, and then it's just really a matter of how long we want them on the sideline and what we want to do with the wins.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So Miranda, the first 16 counts gets them into this spot here. Well, actually, they were meshed together. Now it looks like they're a little bit.
Yeah, I just separated them so I can grab them easily. I'll probably put them. I'll have them in a different. So here, page 2 is when they're meshed in one line, and then page 3 they'll be separating to grab their equipment or be part of the drill.
Right.
Okay.
So the first 16 counts we have moving to the straight line here, where it's every other. So we have a win, guard, win, guard, win, guard. So that's 16 counts. They're 4 steps off the sideline. Okay. So now and then the people in the back are moving the mirrors. So now we have basically 3 more 16 count moves to work with, in essence. So, I mean, yeah, we could do where we were saying like one side of the field goes and gets their stuff while the other side does something else. Or we could just have the color guard stay here for 16 counts and do something with the wins, and then all move off to get their rifles after that. In my head right now, looking at it, I feel like the guard could do something with the wins here for 16 counts.
Okay. So move 16, hold 16?
Yeah, move 16 and then hold 16 where they're meshed together here. That'd give them an opportunity to interact with each other in a way. And then the third set of 16, they could head off and grab their rifles. And in fact, that wouldn't they could get their rifles and head back out. You know, they wouldn't even have to necessarily take all those counts to do it.
Yeah, it probably would have. They probably just need like 8 counts.
Why don't we do it that way, Casey?
Which way are we doing?
So we got the first 16 counts. They're moving into the line where they're meshed together.
Yep.
And then let's have them hold for 16.
Right.
And do some type of interacting. Heck, they could even do those cartwheels at that moment if we wanted to.
They don't have their rifles yet, though, right?
No. So they're just using 16 counts to interact together. Oops. And so that would leave 2 more 16 counts then after that to get the rifles and get back out there.
Cool.
Could they interact? So if they moved.
What if when they took off? I was gonna say they could ripple across the field when they did that, but looks like you're already like working on getting the winds to move.
Well, I mean, because I figure we only have 32 or 2 more sets of 16. If assuming you want them in 16s, 2 more sets of 16 to
right. Yeah, that's fine.
To work with here. So I kind of wanted to get the winds motivating outward, and then we have the guard from this point will come to the sideline to do their thing.
Right.
Grab their equipment.
Yeah, let's do that.
Is it okay if I still have the guard when they go to exchange equipment? Can they ripple off?
Yeah, totally. That's not a problem. Because they'll just go from 2 to 3. They'll just leave in a ripple instead of.
So every 2 counts. You want to do that, Miranda?
That sounds good.
Or we could do it from the outside in every 4 counts, or from one side to the next every 2 counts. That would give us 16. I guess we don't necessarily have to write it in, but we can just keep that in the back of our head, like we could always add that in, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like the outside in kind of idea.
So every 4 counts, and then that would give them 4 counts to each kind of do something like elegant to get off the field, basically.
Yeah.
In a way.
I like the idea of rippling from the outside in as well, because if they don't, the furthest outside wind, assuming we keep them in this shape, the furthest outside wind's gonna run into that first guard member if she's not the first one to ripple out. I guess now it's just a matter of where we want that equipment staged, because I'm still concerned that because we have members coming off the front of the field at the end of that first movement, I don't want them to start running into guard equipment, you know.
Well, can they just be aware of stepping over when they're gonna have to step over something?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, either that or we can have them place their equipment 2 steps off the front sideline, because that's all the further that people come off.
He's smart.
If that matters. If that works.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So we'll just make sure that these ladies are. Let's see. So it's 2 off the front. 2, 3, 4. Oh, and actually, I wonder if we can just make this a sequential. Not follow the leader. Where use sequential push tool. There you are. Did you say every 2 they're stepping off?
Well, if they're doing the outside in, then it'd be every 4. So the outside girl would be move for 4, or yeah. Oh, that would. Hmm. They can get to the front sideline into their equipment in 4 counts, can't they?
Yeah, are they 4 steps off
Yeah,
there?
they're only 4 steps off.
Yep.
They a little baby jazz run will get them there in 4 counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how about, let's see here. I guess for drill writing purposes, Casey, I wouldn't even worry about like. I would. Well, I see what you got there. And then just land them right on the front sideline.
Yeah, I mean, if their equipment's like, I don't know, this sequential push tool is annoying because it assumes they're all taking the same step size.
Yeah.
So
Just why don't you just forget like even trying to write in
the push, the
yeah,
sequential movement.
and just move them to where they need to be in 16 counts, and then we'll just know that we're gonna do.
Yeah, I have it written in right now. What? Oh my god. Guys?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Did I somehow did someone drop their call?
Um,
Are you,
Tyler has dropped the call a couple times. I don't know if he's. It kind of sounds like he is no longer on the call.
okay, I don't see his little.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure he'll join here again momentarily.
Okay.
So I have them all at 2 off the front sideline. It's where their equipment's going to be set. And again, that's just because we actually have drill that comes off the front sideline since there's no pit there. So.
Okay, that's fine.
Um. And then, yeah, we'll have that sequential. You can orchestrate the sequential movement here too.
Okay. I have it written down.
Cool. I'm actually gonna.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
It just keeps cutting me out every now and then.
Oh, and then I also have to. Let's do this really quick. Oh, actually, let's do it at page 16. Let's change their equipment. Flags.
Let's see here. As far as the guard is staged right now, I wonder could they be closer to the 50, or isn't that gonna matter?
No, we can move them closer to the 50.
I mean, yeah, that'd be easier for them to kind of get back together.
If we have the closest one on the 45, is that because I also don't want to move them too close to the piano. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to distract from the piano playing.
I think the 45 would be good. I don't know. Do you want to move them like onto the front sideline? Yeah, it looks like you got them like 2 steps in front.
I have them 2 steps in front because that's where their equipment's gonna be, so that when we have those moves where the horn line comes off, they won't be stumbling over equipment on their way there.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, that looks good. What do you think, Miranda?
Looks good to me.
Should we have them every 4 steps, or um, well, I guess we wanted to try to get him to that spot. I guess it doesn't in 4 counts. Or
I
we or we could have him chill there for a few counts too in the last 16 count move.
yeah.
So, because if we do the sequential push, the last girl to go would be using the last 4 counts of that 16 count move. Um,
They just hold there for a couple counts and
but
then
they could, I was going to say they could hold for like, well, she's probably going to need a few more counts. So, say they even need 8 more counts. That gives them 8 more counts to kind of stand up and move backwards or get set up, I guess, in a way.
that's it. Will there be enough going on with the band?
What's that?
Will there be enough going on with the band at that point?
Yeah, while the
Right.
guard while the guard is moving, the winds are going to be doing some movement back there.
Okay.
So that's the good thing, is it won't be distracting them down front, picking up their stuff, because the winds will be getting moving by this point.
Okay. Sounds good.
So then, are we?
So what do we think about? Well, do we want to have them 4 step intervals then when they go to pick equipment up? Because right now they're like at what, 6?
I have them at 6. I
Maybe,
figure.
you know what? Yeah, let's keep them at 6. Make them look bigger.
Yeah.
We always get comments that they're too close to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just gotta go back to when you're back.
Man, that 8th member is gonna just.
Yep.
That is gonna haunt me right now.
Yeah.
Just for symmetry purposes, it's just
Yeah.
gonna be annoying, but we'll get it worked out. So
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is, after this, we kind of get them into more arc shapes where, they're not symmetrical in a way,
Mm-hmm.
or just have them in forms in more of a line or an arc or something big and spread out.
Yeah. During the camp thing that I went to, they made the comment that if small gardens spread, they tend to look smaller,
Right.
and I don't want obviously that to happen.
Yeah.
They're good. I want to double check the beginning too, just to make sure I have everything written down correctly. So from the beginning to hold on. What did I? Give me a second. I thought I was prepared, but I don't have up what I need to have up. Okay. So the beginning to A1, everybody will be like not moving, correct? Or I mean that's 8 or
I guess it depends on what score we're looking at here. So
The 6th.
yeah. See here.
Is that the latest one?
When there's like 8 counts of introduction in the mallets before the horn solo starts.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody will be moving at that point. Stand still, probably. I was also thinking, you know, those from letter or those next. Well, we had talked about having the guard do something first, from like A1 to A2.
Yeah.
And then having the winds like do something.
Yep.
I'm thinking it might, as far as like making sure the piano player is not overshadowed, maybe during those first where we had intended the guard to do something, just maybe push that back 16 counts until, or so have the whole opening with the beginning of the horn solo just still be at a standstill or hiding behind the mirrors.
The first 16 counts.
Yeah, is that how many counts it is? 16 counts. Let me pull my score up here.
I have from 8 to 16.
Let me just,
Or A1.
let me pull my score up here real quick.
Because what I thought might be cool, I just didn't told you this, would it be neat if instead of having the guard do something, then the piano player did something for like 8 counts and held while she did something again, and then they repeated it. You know, they.
Are you talking the piano player?
Yeah.
Well, we're thinking about having the piano player wasn't originally going to play here at the beginning. She was going to do some acting, but what I'm thinking is just having her play, and then with the horn soloist. So those two would be doing something together from starting at A1.
And they would be playing at A1, correct?
Who would be playing?
The piano player with the soloist.
Yeah, with the horn player for like the first 4 measures of that. Okay. And then possibly have the color guard and the winds move out from behind the mirrors the next 4 measures, so 16 counts. And then have the guard start their dance that you had originally intended for A1, but have them started at A2.
That works.
And we could just do the dance together with the winds if we wanted, or we could just cut it in half and have the guard do it for the first 16 counts, and then the winds for the next 16 counts, you know.
Yep.
I kind of like just to feature the piano player and the horn soloist out there kind of alone for a moment at the beginning of the show, or that doesn't really capture like, oh, why is that piano player there, you know? So it'd be kind of cool if she was just playing something with the horn soloist.
Okay.
So I think we might do it that way.
Okay. And then what will she be doing? So from A1 on, she'll be playing the piano, or just for the first 16 counts?
Yeah, she'll be playing A1 all the way until, well, the rest of the show, basically. So she really won't even be moving up out of that spot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And at this point, does the band start moving?
So the band is going to start moving then at A3, I think it was. Yeah.
I had written something, but I didn't like it, so I was going to rewrite it today anyway. So that.
At A3?
Well, that whole beginning part.
Well, the guard won't be moving at A3, so they can still be dancing. The guard really isn't going to move until, well, they're going to stay there like the whole beginning until those 2 measures before letter C, or 4 measures before letter C, where they start moving. So we might have to get creative, and I think pushing them back to starting their dance closer to A2 will help, or else they're going to be out there for a super long time doing stuff, and it might feel awkward.
Yeah. So
And we can always have them like go behind the mirrors and circle around it. We can get creative, but
yeah. Okay.
so all right, Casey,
Yes,
how's it going?
it's going. I'm just adjusting a couple of the cosmetic things on the
Yeah,
moving these guys front field again once they hold, and putting in the couple little notes and making sure all the set numbers are correct and all that jazz.
sure.
So what I have going on here, I'm blowing these guys open here to make room for the guard to come onto the field. Here from 16 to 17. So I imagine that's where we'll bring the guard members back on. Also here from page 16 to 17. I just don't know how you guys want that, and then then we're at the hold 8 to get everybody ready to play for the wins to come in at D.
Yeah, so are you going to have the people at the mirrors still holding back there those final 16 counts, or are you going to move them too?
Do you want them moving there? I mean, I can make them move those 16. That's not a problem.
They take 2 16-count moves to get to back there, right?
Yep.
Or, I mean, to set them, be ready to move. So I figured on that last 16 counts, they could move too and then get back to a spot where they're going to be conditioned to play with the other wins.
Okay. Yeah, so let's actually, then considering that, I'm going to move these guys a little further away. Because they don't need to be all up in that business there. For right now, we'll just take the shapes and push them. But that certainly doesn't mean that that's the final shape that we want them to be in.
Now, with that extra saxophone player that I was talking about.
Right, yeah, let's add that person, like, right now. Wow.
Where do we want to put them? Like, on the 50? Or do we want to, like, hide them behind this mirror that's on the 50?
I think that, well, because you mentioned something about that person being in the pit. And if that person's going to be in the pit, I think we should just move them next to one of the performers on either side of these lines, and then we'll just make some sort of asymmetrical form to...
Yeah, I was thinking that, or he could just start behind that mirror that's in the middle of the field.
Right.
And then come out, and maybe he could do some acting in front of it during this transition. Or he could, like, look in the mirror at himself or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we can do that.
To kind of draw attention to the mirror during this.
Let's bring him out from page 15 to 16, where these win members are kind of in these diagonals here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Why won't you let me add a performer? Let me add you. Strange. Give me a second.
It's fine. And you don't even have to necessarily like label them as a saxophone or something if you need to like use a different letter.
Right.
He'll be forever known as the odd man out.
Lucky him.
You could label him with a K. His name is Keith. I never met him. He's just moving to school here, and they emailed me and asked if he could be in the marching band.
I see.
Where's he coming from?
I don't know.
There we go.
He'll be a freshman though.
Okay.
Okay. Oops. No. Whoa. No. But we do want one performer right here. No, not you, you dope. You will be the newest performer in this ensemble. Label you. How many? Is this a sax player you said?
Yeah, so that would be a total of 3 alto saxes now instead
3
of the
altos. 2. Okay. I'm just gonna make him. So right now your altos are S1 and S2, and then your tenor is S3. I'm just gonna make this guy S4, if that's okay,
right.
Just so that I don't have to like.
Yep.
You know, mess up somebody else's drill number on accident.
Well, what about the other tenor saxophone? So there's 2 tenors.
Oh, there. Yeah. Sorry,
So
I was just looking here. I saw there was an S3, so there's an S4 somewhere.
S5.
Oh, got it. Okay. Alto 1 and Alto 2 are right here. S2 and S3, are those my tenors? Oh, okay. Okay. What am I? I'm missing something here. I have the right number of members.
Should be 25 total now.
Yes. Yep. And I've been working with 24 up until this point.
Yep.
So I feel like I've mislabeled someone. Because I have Alto 1 and Alto 2.
Well, here's my question. Well, up to this point, I guess it hasn't really mattered who's who. Going into letter D, we have the low brass supplying the melody. And then, then 8 measures after letter D, at letter E, we have that woodwind kind of thing, that feature going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if it was like a thing where you kind of work your way backwards and just change like what member is what member, or how you get them to be more together, like as a woodwind group versus a brass group.
Right. I mean, there's a few ways we can do that. Are you talking about like going forward?
Yeah, because like at letter E, the woodwinds are playing some pretty challenging lick. You know that one?
Yep.
So I didn't know if it'd be cool if they could just like play that at a standstill while the brass are doing some visual thing opposite of them.
That was actually what I had kind of going on in my head. So I actually the idea that I kind of had going on was the woodwinds make like two edges of a block type of thing, and they might even so while they're going da 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 while they're doing that part, I kind of want them moving. I want them moving, but in halftime, so they'd be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, but they would be just in like a block type of shape. And then splitting the middle of that block shape, I'd have brass members going through a follow the leader in double time. So you have that kind of, because you have that like the mallet part underneath that's kind of doing this that triplet kind of type of thing. And I feel like that extra motion kind of gives that visual sense of a lilt to it. That said, it shouldn't be too hard to get these guys where we want them for that, because side 1 all the woodwinds are together and side 2 all the brass are together. So all we have to do
right now.
Yeah, like right now the woodwinds are on side 1 and the brass are on side 2.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so that won't be too hard to.
That's kind of what I was looking for.
Put together.
So side 1 woodwinds could just kind of get into some shape. What I'm always looking for is like tough segments where only one group is playing. Have them do something a whole lot easier.
Right.
And then when people are not playing, obviously give them more challenging things to do. Visually, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, I figured out what I was missing here. So I have altos are actually A1, A2. So I will make this new performer A3, and then S1, S2, and S3 are tenor, berry. So that makes a little bit more sense. I forgot that I did. And that's written on the key too, but that's in the first chart, not in this one. So I'm gonna label this guy, and you will be A3. Oops. A3. Make your label face this way. Perfect. Boom. Extra performer. Added to the drill.
Cool.
I just have a quick question. Like looking at the score.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say there were 4 sets of 16 between C and D? I'm seeing 2 sets of 16 and a set of 8.
Well, it's double times. The 8th note is 160, so technically every measure is 8 counts.
Okay.
Because it says, well, in halftime it would be 4 counts, but it's gonna go twice as fast. Bum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, instead of a bum, ba-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So we're counting. Yeah, we're counting twice the speed basically. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it gets 4 16-count moves instead of half the speed. So.
Okay, we're gonna change this around here. Because I need to get, let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Are you thinking now with the extra sax member?
Well, it makes the math a little awkward.
Well, we could always have him stay in front of that mirror and do stuff too at letter D.
Oh, true. We could do that. We could do that.
Maybe we should just have him just stay there the whole show and just come out in front when we need him. Hey Keith, you're the mirror man.
Well, actually, it won't matter till letter E. Letter E, because letter E is when I want to build that block and then have the brass going through it.
Well, Keith won't mind because, well, he was late coming, so I was just saying, you know, we tried to get you in where we could here, buddy.
Right.
What you get, not drop it.
Yeah. So if you would have let me know a while ago.
So what about? So I have this. The idea would be neat, and we can do it differently too. But are you like sold on the idea of making this new mirror or the black mirror a solid mirror that it's not just going to be a frame?
I think that'd be kind of cool, and keep that that mirror on the 50 there a regular mirror, and then when we move these ones to the back, turn them around so they're black, but we still have this one mirror that's in the center that's reflection.
Mm-hmm. Because the only reason I ask is because we could manufacture this moment at E to where we have half of a block in this upper portion on top of the mirror, half of it in the lower portion below, and then the brass marching through the mirror. And they could actually use that mirror as a guide if we're still going to keep it a frame, which would be interesting.
So just keep it open?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you would rather have it closed, we can do something else. But that would be a really cool effect if that was an open mirror.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I hear you there. I don't know if the tube would fit in through there.
Oh, fair. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not overcomplicate it.
Okay.
Okay. So we just need to figure out something to do in this moment. You know what? I need to add the soundtrack to this bad boy. I'm going to turn up the volume really quick.
Not bad.
Sweet. Okay. So now we have her all synced up. Now I just kind of have to decide what we want to do with everybody else here.
Which brass members are in the front?
Brass members in the front. I have a baritone 2, trumpet 3, tuba, mellophone 3, and mellophone 2.
I gotcha. Be kind of cool if they got in those arcs that you have them and then have them all like follow the leader around towards the mirror in a way. Be kind of be an interesting, kind of a challenging move though.
So you want like, and you're talking like from 18 to 19, because they're gonna hold for 8.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna hold for 8 in that set. I've been telling them to just pop their horns up in those on count 1 of those 8 counts.
Sure. So we can do that. I might just make like double arcs that eventually turn into lines.
Here's another thing too. What if we had the color guard? It'd be cool if the color guard was integrated somehow. Maybe they could go through the box or whatever you were thinking. I guess any way to get the guard integrated into the forms, and I mean, the biggest thing with the guard is integrated the forms when possible, and then just keep them much more spread out than you have in previous years.
Yeah. Yep.
So like, it wouldn't even be wrong to have them in big moments, have them 8 steps apart from each other. Mm-hmm. a whole 5 yards basically.
And the peak of my curve is...
Our biggest challenge is going to be the limited space front to back with the mirrors and the pit, but I think it'll be fine.
Oops, we need to flip. There we go. And then we can pull. We're deleting a guard member here, right?
Yes.
Delete performer. Gone. Let's see what this looks like if we go 40, 40, 50. And then, no, that's not what we want. We'll map these guys this way. And that way, we still have a nice symmetrical form with a point in the center. Okay, we just need to adjust this maybe another step forward so that that guard member is not hitting.
the lag on my video is decent.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Wish there was more I could do to alleviate that, whatever it is, the lag on that.
Yeah.
So right here I kind of have us in these arcs. This is... And then that starts us on, so page 17 to 18 is going to be that 8 count hold. 3, 4, 5, 6, boom.
Yeah. Cool.
So this is what measure is this then, or what letter?
This would be the two measures before letter D. They get to this spot and then they hold here for 8 counts.
Okay.
And then they'll start playing at letter D / spinning or whatnot.
And then do you want these primarily 16 count moves, Tyler? Because I can do a lot of 16 counters here. Or
yeah,
eights.
I think at this tempo and to cut down on the number of drill charts, I think bigger chunks would be fine here.
So it'll give us from from letter D to letter E. That gives us two moves then, or two drill charts.
Yeah, and then from letter E to E2. Or do I have an E2? Yeah, E2. So basically, D to E, 2 16 count moves. Why do I have a D to E2? Do you have that in your score?
I do.
Or am I? But you don't have a regular E?
Let's see.
Why is my E2 and my E backwards?
I have E at bar 55, 6, 7, 58, and then E2 at 66.
I think I might have just moved my numbers up when I was doing stuff. But what letter is the next piano solo for you?
The bum bum ba 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 F.
That's F?
Yep.
The next piano solo?
Yep.
Okay, let me just make sure that's jiving with me here. Should be. B, C, D, E. Yeah, that makes sense. So would it be like from D to E, 2 16 count moves, E to F, or E to E2, 2 16 count moves, and then E2 to F, 2 16 count moves? And that can always change too, but just going through that.
Okay, so D to E is going to be, looks like 2 16 count moves, yeah. And then E2, and then you said E to E2
would be the same, 2 16 count moves.
Yep. And then
E2 to F is 2 16 count moves.
Yep.
And then within that, I'm thinking just maybe, like I said, opportunities for the woodwinds just to be halted during their little feature in there, if possible.
Yep.
Or something, kind of like an ABA format, like 16 counts of this, 16, I think you get what I'm talking about here.
I do, yep.
So it's not just like 6 16 count moves that just happen all the time, something to change it up. All right, cool. And then the piano solo.
Yes.
I don't really care what they're doing there. Maybe that'd be a good opportunity for them to, half of it maybe do some visual body work, and then the other half getting into setting themselves up for the next chunk at letter G, basically.
All right, I've taken that down as a note. So some body work and then setting up to play again at letter G.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing at G is a halftime feel for a good chunk of it. So maybe like the first 8 measures of G is halftime,
Yep.
and then the rest of it they move into double time.
Got it.
And I mean that whole segment can get you can change things up towards the end of that, but I'm feeling like a halftime march for the first 8 measures of that, and then a little bit quicker pace the rest of the way through, and then locking into some form for the big chord at the end of that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's like my favorite chunk of this whole show. That and the very end.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I feel good about that direction. That sounds good.
Yeah. So I guess at this point, now that we got this transition, I'm gonna let you just work on your own and go through this at letter D.
Yep.
If that's cool.
Totally.
That way you can kind of work at your own pace. And
yeah,
stuff,
we'll hammer out a bunch of stuff here over the next couple days, and then so
can you work on some of this stuff here, starting at letter D, and then I don't know if you can get to F. That'd be cool, and then you could have me take a look at it, and then we can fix or adjust, or I can let you know what I'm thinking.
Yep. So to letter F, and then I'll consult you.
Well, yeah. If we could get to letter F by the end of the day, and then consult me, and then maybe tomorrow we could connect and maybe adjust if needed, or move on from there.
Totally.
All right. I'm gonna head out for a while, and maybe just shoot me a text, send me a message when you get something.
Will do. Sounds good, man.
All right. Yeah. See you guys
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.